The Israeli Defense Forces are now telling Palestinian civilians to flee parts of South Gaza, which of course is the part of Gaza they had already fled to, as the aerial bombardment by the IDF really focused on northern Gaza. Now, I want to be clear, there were also aerial bombardments in southern Gaza as well, but the claim was, well, just move over to the southern region of the Gaza Strip, and that's where you should be relatively safe. Well, now Israel has ordered civilians to leave 4 towns in the southern part of the Gaza Strip. They made these demands beginning today, raising fears that its war against Hamas could spread to areas that it had told people to flee to. I mean, it's not just raising concerns. They're going to start bombing areas that people had already fled to. So think about how densely populated Gaza already was. And then they had half of the population in the north moved. They displaced them to the south, thus making the south even more densely populated. Now they're going to do aerial bombardments and air raids in the southern region of the Gaza Strip. So if you think the civilian death toll is already terrible, I mean, what do you think is going to happen in the coming weeks?
Guys, this is an indisputable genocide, and you can get your feelings hurt by that. But let me explain Srebrenica. Srebrenica was when 6,000 Muslims were killed. It was not an attempt to eradicate all Muslims from the planet. It was not an attempt to eradicate all Bosnians or Albanians or Turks or whoever else was in Srebrenica. But it was targeting Muslims in specific, and it killed civilians at a significant rate. And that was called a genocide by the United Nations. This is twice as many civilians killed. They're obviously targeting civilians. You can't say that they thought that there was a Hamas member in 50% of the households in Gaza. They bombed 50% of the households. They claim that Hamas had this headquarters in Al-Shifa Hospital. Turns out total utter lie at this point. And then half the hospitals are in the north. They were all shut down. So no, they're not even trying to. They might be trying to get Hamas here and there in different instances, but overall, the 7,000 bombs that they dropped on Gaza were indiscriminate civilian killings, and then moving millions of people. And now you've got 2.3 million people squished into even tinier piece of land, and then they're going to start dropping bombs on their heads. And imagine your child, if you have a kid, imagine your child is in a building and Israel's about to drop a bomb on it. And they go, oh, so what? Your kid was a human shield. We think maybe Hamas is in a tunnel underneath. We know that the bomb isn't going to affect the tunnel at all, but we are going to drop the bomb and your babies are going to die. But oh no, it's not a genocide. Collateral damage, wink. By the way, what the hell are you going to do with Gaza? Now they got cabinet members in Israel's government saying, yeah, maybe we should move out all those Palestinians from Gaza. You're going to steal the land, right? You're going to steal the land, right?
Yes, that is what they're going to do. Let's be clear. And this isn't just me speculating about it. They're just saying it. They're just saying it. So I got to get to all of those details in a moment. But first, the reason why we know that they're now telling Palestinian civilians to flee parts of southern Gaza is because they're dropping leaflets letting them know, we're going to bomb. So you need to get out of Dodge, right? Although there's really nowhere to go. That's the other problem. Let's go to graphic 6. Here's what the leaflets say. The acts of Hamas terrorist group require the defense forces to act against them in the areas of your residence. For your safety, you need to evacuate your places of residence immediately and head to known shelters.
Which we're also bombing. There's nowhere to go. It's a prison. Release the hostages, Israel. Right now, Israel has 5 million hostages. Palestinians they have kept in prison for 56 long years under a brutal occupation. Now they have taken over 2 million hostages and squeezed them into a tiny area where they're now going to mercilessly drop more bombs from the sky on. It's disgusting. It's obvious genocide. There's not even any question about it at all, at all. If you think it's not a genocide, it's because you're enormously biased and you can't see straight. And my people can never do anything wrong. Believe me, I lived it. I know it. I've seen Turks do it. I've seen every other ethnicity do it. And guys, it isn't about being Jewish at all. Every ethnicity does it when it's about them. Everyone. Nope, not me, not me, not me. Kill him, kill him, kill him. But it's not a genocide. It's not a genocide because my people are angels and the other side are monsters. And we need to kill all those people because all they understand is violence. No, all you understand is violence. That's the violence you're doing right now. That is definitely a genocide.
Finally, let's get to what the actual politicians in Israel are saying, right? Because if you don't believe us, that's fine. But you should at least believe the Israeli politicians who are saying out loud exactly what they're planning to do. Let's begin with President Isaac Herzog, who told Britain's Financial Times that a very strong force may need to remain in the Gaza Strip for the near future to prevent the Hamas militant group from reemerging. So you might interpret that as not a big deal, but let me give you more. So there's the finance minister.
By the way, it is a giant deal. It means we're keeping it.
Of course. Come on. Okay, but there's more. So you got Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich, who heads the religious nationalist parties within Netanyahu's coalition. He said that he supported a call by two members of Israeli parliament who wrote in a Wall Street Journal op-ed that Western countries, hey, right-wingers, if you happen to be listening to this, please listen carefully, okay? Because they are urging Western countries, which includes the United States, to take in Palestinian refugees because they're pushing them out. They're pushing Palestinians. They're planning to push whoever remains after their endless aerial bombardment. They're gonna push them out of the Gaza Strip and they will be made refugees and they need a place to go. So they're arguing, hey, why don't you take them, Western countries? We're gonna push people out of their own land, and then we're gonna force you to deal with the mess.
Guys, you
deal with it. Let me give you the excerpts. I have to read the excerpts. So here are the individuals who wrote this in the Wall Street Journal. It's Danny Danon and Ram Ben Barak. Okay, these are members of parliament. Here's what they write in the Wall Street Journal. European countries, including Germany, Sweden, and France, have provided refuge to Syrians since the civil war started in 2011. Between 2015 and 2016, Germany alone admitted more than 1.2 million refugees and asylum seekers, about a quarter of whom were Syrian. Looking to these examples, countries around the world should offer a haven for Gaza residents who seek relocation. Countries can accomplish this by creating well-structured and internationally coordinated relocation programs. Well, why don't you guys take in Palestinian civilians?
Yeah, why don't you take them inside Israel and let them vote? Oh, you don't want to do that. Guys, this is textbook ethnic cleansing.
Yeah, definitely.
Textbook. Like when you look up ethnic cleansing in a war crime textbook, this is the exact tactics you'll see. You push out the civilian population, you make other people take them, you kill a giant number of them, you force them into long marches where they die, and then eventually you just take all the land and go, we need a little breathing space for our population. So we're just gonna take this land and we're gonna force them upon you. You know the guys who wrote that? One of them is Mossad, former Mossad, and the other one is the Likud Party, so right-wing government of Israel, right? So they're saying, and they make it seem like it's like out of compassion. Oh, the Palestinians, we care so much about them. So since we're killing so much of them and they have nowhere to go and we'd like to steal their land, hey, America and Europe, why don't you take them? Because we've already ethnically cleansed them. So if we could kill them all, or you could take some of them because you could be humanitarians. How about you be a humanitarian? Of course not.
Bezalel Smotrich, again, the finance minister of Israel. I'm going to go to the very last graphic here. He says, quote, the state of Israel will no longer be able to accept the existence of an independent entity in Gaza.
They're just going to take it.
Guys, they say it. They just say it. They just say it, okay? I have no interest, I have no dog in the fight. I have no interest to come on the show and lie and put out false information that makes Israel look bad, okay? Israeli politicians are doing a great job on their own, looking real bad with the statements that they openly say and write in our papers in the United States. So just take that in and accept it because it's the reality of the situation. And please, for the love of God, this is my #1 pet peeve. Don't insult our intelligence when we can read and hear exactly what they want and exactly what they want to do and exactly what they carry out day in and day out.
So I reiterate this daily, about 3-4 times a day. This is not about ethnicity. This is not about religion. This is not about Jewish people overall. Some of the best protesters, some of the people that are fighting for peace, the hardest in America, are Jewish Americans willing to get arrested, lay down their safety, their comfort, etc., to go out in the streets to help Palestinians. Okay, so and Jews have been historically oppressed throughout world history, and they have suffered greatly as a people. But it is the dynamic of human beings overall. Every different ethnicity and religion does this when